My name is Emily Carter, and this is a story I never imagined I would tell the world. Looking back at the choices I made, I realize how a single decision, driven by pride, greed, and short-sightedness, changed the course of my entire life. I once had a good man by my side, someone who loved me more than I ever deserved, but I let him slip away because I thought money and comfort were more important. 6 years later, I find myself broken, empty, and watching him live the life I once dreamed of, but with someone else. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, in a working-class family. My father was a factory worker, my mother a nurse. They instilled in me the values of hard work and honesty, but deep down, I always dreamed of something bigger. I wanted the finer things in life: the designer clothes, the fancy cars, the big house in a suburban neighborhood. My parents would always say, "Emily, happiness isn't in money. It's in people who love you." I'd nod, but secretly I didn't believe it. When I was 23, I met Daniel Miller. He wasn't flashy or rich. He was a kind, down-to-earth guy who worked as a mechanic in a small auto shop. He had grease under his fingernails and worn-out shoes, but he had the warmest smile and the most genuine heart. He'd surprise me with flowers from the grocery store, hold doors open for me, and always listen when I had a bad day. He wasn't wealthy, but he made me feel safe. We dated for 2 years before he proposed to me in a simple but sweet way. He didn't have a diamond ring, just a modest one he'd saved up for. I said yes, even though a part of me wished the proposal had been grander. We got married in a small ceremony with close friends and family. Life with Daniel was modest but filled with love. We rented a tiny apartment, cooked together in our small kitchen, and laughed often. But as time went on, my discontent grew. Social media didn't help. My college friends were posting pictures of vacations in Miami, designer handbags, and luxury weddings. Meanwhile, Daniel and I were clipping coupons and driving his old truck. I started comparing my life to theirs, and Daniel's love didn't feel like enough anymore. One night, I snapped at him. "Daniel, when are we going to have more? A better house, a better car, a real life? I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck forever." He looked at me with sadness in his eyes. "Emily, I'm working as hard as I can. I may not be rich, but I love you. Isn't that enough?" At that moment, I didn't think it was. Then came Michael Turner, a wealthy businessman I met through a mutual friend at a networking event. He was everything Daniel wasn't: charming, confident, and dripping with wealth. He drove a black Mercedes, wore expensive suits, and talked about his vacation homes in Miami and New York. He started pursuing me, showering me with gifts Daniel could never afford: designer purses, fancy dinners, weekend trips. I felt like I was living in a movie. At first, I resisted. I told myself I was a married woman and Daniel was a good man. But the more I compared Michael to Daniel, the weaker I became. Michael made me feel glamorous, like I was finally stepping into the life I had always dreamed of. The breaking point came when Daniel and I had an argument over bills. The rent was late, and I exploded. "I can't do this anymore, Daniel. I don't want to struggle my whole life." That night, I packed a bag and left. I filed for divorce within weeks. Daniel begged me to reconsider. He told me he loved me, that we could work it out, that things would get better. But I was too blinded by Michael's wealth to listen. I married Michael within a year. At first, it was everything I imagined: lavish vacations, shopping sprees, fancy parties. I thought I had one. But slowly, the cracks started to show. Michael wasn't kind like Daniel. He was controlling, arrogant, and unfaithful. He saw me as another accessory, not a partner. Over the years, his love faded. The expensive gifts slowed, the arguments grew, and eventually, he began openly seeing other women. He didn't care if I knew. He reminded me often that without him, I was nothing. 6 years into the marriage, Michael left me for a younger woman. Just like that, I was discarded. He kept the houses, the cars, everything. Our prenup left me with nothing. I found myself alone, broke, and with nowhere to go. One evening, while scrolling through social media, I saw Daniel. My heart stopped. He was standing in front of a brand new auto shop he owned, his own business, Miller Auto and Repair. He looked different, confident, successful, and happy. And by his side was a beautiful woman, his new wife, holding his hand and smiling proudly. They looked perfect together. She was radiant, and he was glowing in a way he never did with me. In that moment, I realized the cruel twist of fate. I left Daniel because I thought he would never be successful, but now he had everything I wanted: wealth, stability, and love. And I had nothing. I tried reaching out once. I sent him a message saying, "Hey, it's been a long time. I saw your shop, I'm proud of you." He never replied. Later, I heard from a mutual friend that Daniel had told everyone he had moved on completely, that his past was behind him. And that's when it hit me. I had lost not just a husband, but the only man who ever truly loved me. Now, I live in a small rented apartment, working a regular job just to make ends meet. Sometimes I walk past Daniel's shop and see him laughing with his customers, his wife sometimes stopping by with lunch for him. It hurts, but I know I did this to myself. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this: money can buy comfort, but it cannot buy love, loyalty, or happiness. I traded true love for temporary luxury, and in the end, I lost everything. Daniel didn't just become successful. He became the man I always wanted, but with someone who truly appreciated him. This is my story. A cautionary tale for anyone who thinks the grass is greener on the other side. Sometimes, the love you have is worth more than all the riches in the world.